The samurai weren't always Japan's legendary warrior elite. Their origins are far more humble than the myths suggest. Their rise was rapid and unexpected, a transformation that would reshape the nation's destiny. For centuries, Japan's emperors and aristocrats in Kyoto focused on art and poetry, not on ruling the provinces. The imperial court was a world of elegance, refinement, and ritual, far removed from the realities of rural life. They hired guards and provincial warriors, men seen as little more than armed servants to protect their lands. These men were not yet the noble samurai of legend, but simple protectors, often overlooked by the elite. But as the central government weakened, these guards became indispensable. Their skills and loyalty grew more valuable as lawlessness spread. Landowners built private armies, recruiting skilled fighters loyal to them, not the distant emperor. These new warriors began to wield real influence, shaping local politics and society. These early warriors, the first samurai, quietly built power across the countryside. They trained, formed alliances, and established their own codes of honor. The emperor's authority faded, while local warrior clans like the Taira and Minamoto grew strong. These clans began to challenge the old order, seeking dominance over rivals in the court itself. Their rivalry exploded in the Genpei War, a brutal conflict that would decide the fate of Japan. When the Minamoto triumphed, their leader, Minamoto no Yoritomo, created a new military government, the shogunate. This was a turning point, as military might replace imperial ceremony. The emperor remained a figurehead, but real power now belonged to the shogun and his samurai. The balance of authority had shifted forever. This marked the end of imperial rule and the start of a feudal era that would last nearly 700 years. Castles rose and the samurai became the backbone of Japanese society. The samurai rose from humble guards to the top of the social order, above farmers, artisans, and merchants. Their code, Bushido, set them apart and defined their place in society. They didn't overthrow the old system outright. They built a new one alongside it, becoming Japan's true rulers. Their influence reached into every corner of the country. Their story shows how history is often shaped by practical needs, not grand designs. The samurai adapted, innovated, and endured. The samurai's ascent was a response to chaos, not a master plan. They filled a void left by a faltering government, and in doing so, changed the course of history. In just a few generations, they transformed Japan forever, leaving a legacy that still fascinates the world today. The samurai class emerged from necessity during the Heian period, a time when Japan's imperial court was losing its grip on the distant provinces. As the imperial court neglected the provinces, local leaders and communities were left to fend for themselves, facing threats from bandits and rival clans. Wealthy landowners needed protection for their lands and families, so they hired and trained loyal warriors who would defend their interests. These early samurai were rugged fighters, skilled with bow and sword, serving their lords in exchange for land, a share of crops, or other rewards that secured their loyalty. This bond of loyalty and reward became the backbone of samurai society, creating a strict code of honor and duty that would define their way of life. As the central government weakened further, these warriors organized themselves into powerful clans, such as the Taira and Minamoto, each vying for control and influence. Their fierce rivalry erupted into the Genpei War, a dramatic conflict that ended with the Minamoto's victory and the creation of the first shogunate, forever changing Japan's history. The emperor became a figurehead, while the shogun and his samurai took real power, ruling the country from behind the scenes. Japan entered its feudal age, defined by the dominance of the warrior class, whose presence was felt in every corner of society. Samurai were no longer just guards, they became administrators, judges, and rulers, shaping the laws and customs of the land. Their rise was swift and transformative, reshaping Japan's political landscape, leaving a legacy that endures to this day. The age of the samurai had truly begun, marking a new era in Japanese history. At the heart of samurai society stood the daimyo, feudal lords who ruled vast domains, each with their own unique customs and traditions. These powerful men were not only landowners but also the ultimate authority within their territories, commanding respect and loyalty from all who lived under their rule. A daimyo's power was measured by rice production, the lifeblood of the economy, which supported armies of samurai and allowed the construction of formidable castles. The more rice a domain produced, the greater its influence and military might. The bond between daimyo and samurai was absolute. Loyalty in exchange for status status, housing, and a rice stipend. This relationship was built on trust, honor, and a strict code of conduct that shaped every aspect of their lives. A samurai without a master, a ronin, was a man adrift, often pitied or distrusted. Many ronin wandered the countryside, seeking new lords or struggling to survive on their own, their status uncertain and their future precarious. Each daimyo ruled his domain like a personal kingdom, with his own laws, ambitions, and visions. Their authority was absolute within their land, shaping the lives of everyone from peasants to samurai. Castles served as both homes and military fortresses, centers of administration and defense. These impressive structures symbolized the daimyo's strength and provided security for their people. Daimyo constantly vying for power, and samurai lived in a state of readiness for war. Training, strategy, and discipline were essential, as rival lords could attack at any moment. In the provinces, daimyo authority was supreme. They were government, judge, and military leader. Their word was law, and their decisions shaped the fate of entire regions. A samurai's fate was tied to his lord's fortunes. Prosperity brought rewards, while defeat meant ruin or even death. The stakes were high, and loyalty was everything. The daimyo-samurai relationship defined Japanese politics for centuries, shaping the nation's history and the very fabric of its society. The emperor and shogun held titles, but real power lay in the hands of these local lords, whose influence reached into every corner of the land. The samurai's world revolved around the castle towns, training, serving, and living for their daimyo. These towns bustled with activity, from markets to martial arts schools. This feudal system shaped Japan's society and culture for generations, leaving a legacy that can still be seen in traditions and values today. Loyalty and service to one's lord were the core of samurai life, binding warriors and lords together in a powerful, enduring tradition. The samurai lived by Bushido, the way of the warrior, a code of honor, loyalty, and self-discipline. Bushido wasn't written law, but a set of values shaping every action, in war and peace. Honor was everything. To lose it was worse than death. Seppuku, ritual suicide, was the ultimate act to restore lost honor. Loyalty to one's daimyo was absolute, even above family. This devotion held the warrior class together and made them formidable. Martial skill and self-discipline were essential, but so was spiritual strength. Many samurai practiced in men, seeking calm and fearlessness in the face of death. The ideal samurai was both a master of arms and a philosopher. Bushido's influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping character and society. The code's legacy endures as a symbol of Japanese values. In times of peace, samurai became administrators, scholars, and patrons of the arts. They managed domains, collected taxes, and enforced laws, channeling their discipline into governance. Samurai practiced calligraphy, ink painting, and the tea ceremony, cultivating a refined aesthetic. They supported no theater and wrote poetry, expressing their inner lives and philosophical reflections. Their appreciation for simplicity and imperfection, wabi-sabi, shaped Japanese art and design. The samurai were not just warriors, but cultured elites who influenced every aspect of society. By embracing both the sword and the brush, they left a unique legacy. Their dual role as fighters and thinkers defined their era. The samurai's impact on culture and government was profound and lasting. The Sengoku Jidai, the age of warring states, was a time of chaos and constant conflict. Over 200 daimyo ruled independent domains, battling for survival and supremacy. Warfare evolved, armies grew, castles became fortresses, and firearms changed tactics. Samurai archers gave way to foot soldiers with muskets. Loyalty was tested. Betrayal and shifting alliances were common. Ambitious retainers sometimes overthrew their own lords. Legendary warlords like Takeda Shingen and Wasugi Kenshin rose to fame. This brutal era devastated Japan but set the stage for unification. Out of the chaos, three great leaders would emerge to reunite the nation. Japan's unification began with Oda Nobunaga, a ruthless innovator who embraced firearms and shattered old armies. By his death, he controlled a third of Japan. His loyal retainer, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, rose from peasant origins to complete the unification through conquest and diplomacy. Hideyoshi's reforms, land surveys, and the sword hunt cemented samurai dominance and disarmed the peasantry. His failed invasions of Korea weakened his regime, leading to a final power struggle. Tokugawa Ieyasu, a patient strategist, seized victory at the Battle of Sekigahara. Ieyasu became the undisputed master of Japan, ending centuries of war. The work of the three unifiers brought peace and stability. Their actions shaped the future of Japan. The samurai's era of constant battle was over. After Sekigahara, Tokugawa Ieyasu established the Tokugawa shogunate in Edo, ruling for over 250 years. Ieyasu's genius was in creating a system to prevent future civil wars. The Sankin Kotai system forced daimyo to spend alternate years in Edo, leaving families as hostages and draining their resources. This policy ensured loyalty and spurred economic growth along travel routes. Society was rigidly divided: samurai, farmers, artisans, merchants. With peace, samurai became administrators and bureaucrats, their swords now symbols of status. The Edo period was an era of peace, isolation, and cultural flourishing. The samurai's practical role faded, but their prestige remained. Ieyasu's political engineering created stability unmatched in Japanese history. The long peace transformed the samurai from warriors to stewards of order. Their legacy shifted from battlefield to bureaucracy. The Edo period's peace marked the decline of the samurai as warriors. Economic changes and Western pressure led to the Meiji Restoration in 1868. The new government abolished the samurai class, stripped their privileges, and banned swords in public. Many samurai struggled to adapt, but their values endured. Bushido's ideals, loyalty, discipline, honor became part of modern Japan's identity. The samurai spirit was redirected to new roles: soldiers, teachers, businessmen. Their legacy shaped Japan's work ethic and national character. Today, samurai remain iconic, celebrated in art, film, and popular culture. Their stories inspire, even as the reality was often harsher than legend. The samurai no longer walk Japan's streets, but their influence lives on. Their code and spirit continue to shape the nation's culture and values.